A piece of advice that is given a lot nowadays is to become detached. Detachment can seem like a great solution. It's definitely a powerful tool to have, but it also brings several downsides with it. And in this video, I want to explore an alternative to becoming detached that actually doesn't have this downside and brings several advantages with it. So, why is detachment powerful, first of all? Let me just say that for a long time, I was kind of hyper focused on detachment. I did so many things in my life in order to become more detached. And I'm quite aware of the fact that, like for many other people who become obsessed with being detached, there was a kind of core vulnerability which I was trying to overcome. I mean, a lot of times when we have this powerful drive to become detached, it is because we are afraid of being hurt in some essential way. And so when I was practicing martial arts, for example, it was all about becoming detached for me. I wanted to have this impenetrable mind where nothing could get to me. I wanted to fight and compete without being affected by a loss. And of course, without being affected by pain and fear. And maybe that was valuable for me for a time. I don't want to completely diminish what I was trying to develop there. But my obsession with detachment definitely didn't stop there. When I became interested in meditation and spiritual practices, I really used it as another tool to develop my detachment, so to say. And it's of course really powerful if you want to do that. A lot of spiritual practice and meditation really is amazingly proficient at giving you the tools to become detached from your experience. But it also became more and more obvious to me in the long term that this can't be the solution which I apply across all life circumstances. Because obviously there are so many situations where you don't want to be detached. I mean, when you're eating a delicious meal, do you want to be detached? When you are spending time with your romantic partner, do you want to be detached? When you are with your friends and family, do you want to be detached? Well, maybe sometimes, but let's say for the most part, you don't want that. You actually want to connect with your life circumstances. You want to enjoy them and cherish them deeply. And a lot of times you want to care about things. You want to be passionate about your life. And this is where we run into trouble when we're just hyper fixated on being detached. Because obviously, we will just constantly feel like we are being pulled back and forth. We want this peace, this equanimity of being detached. But then if something triggers us in the world, if something pulls us into engagement with the world, there's always this subtle danger that we lose our detachment and we lose this peace which we are holding on to. And maybe you could say that you just need to get better at switching between being detached and being fully involved and caring about something. And again, you can get better at this switching, no doubt about it. But let me suggest to you that there is a better alternative to this. You see, when you're detaching, what you're essentially doing is that you're using a part of yourself which takes on this role of being detached. It builds up a kind of bubble, a protective shield where emotions aren't felt to the same degree, where life circumstances are kind of dimmed down. And naturally, this part will always be in conflict with that other part of yourself, which wants to be passionate and wants to have intense feelings and wants to be fully engaged with the world. So what can we do if we don't want to have this constant push and pull between our parts? Well, the alternative is to not live from the perspective of a part of yourself. You don't have to live from either the perspective of the detached part or the involved part. You can actually live from a totally different operating system. And the great news is that this operating system is already fully downloaded, so to say. You already have full access to it. I'm just talking about the very consciousness which is hearing my words right now. This consciousness is fully present here in this instance. There's no doubt about it. If anything is clear to you, it's this. It's the fact that there is consciousness present right now. All your experience attests to this fact. This is something we usually overlook, but it's actually possible to notice this inherent, awake, unbounded openness. We could say that this is our true nature. This is what we really are in a fundamental sense. And we can stop overlooking this. Once we get to know this true nature of us, there's the possibility of living not from this fixed identity, not from being a part of yourself, but actually living from this true nature, living from this awake openness, which you are essentially. And engaging with the world then has a quite different feel to it. What you can discover is that your true nature already has this peace you're looking for inherent to it. The sense of calm is just an aspect of true nature. So there's no need to use a part of yourself to become detached, because what you really are doesn't need to detach to experience peace. This calm and peace and openness is inherent to it. But what about being involved with your experience? Being caring and curious and open about what you're experiencing? Well, the good news is that this true nature of us is not just this calm, awake openness, which is somehow separate from your experience. It's not like that at all. It is totally intimate and interconnected with every part of your experience. As a matter of fact, there is actually no distance between your true nature and the field of your experience. You can't separate them or pull them apart. So this is the possibility we have. We can move from living from this contracted part of us and instead shift into our true nature and experience life from there. And the amazing thing we can notice here is that we don't need to detach and we don't need to struggle to be involved with life. Because paradoxically, true nature already does both perfectly. It is fully at rest and calm, but it's also fully involved. And so when this is how we experience life, we don't need to struggle with this back and forth. We don't have the sense of being vulnerable at our core. We can allow ourselves to be fully engaged without this background worry of losing our peace. And of course, this might sound abstract to you, because right now I'm just talking about it. But it's actually possible to realize this in your very own experience, to make this a reality in your experience. And when you do that, you will surely not be disappointed with how your experience has changed. Let me know in the comments if anything remains unclear about this. You can also use the link in my video description to get in direct touch with me. You can also subscribe to my channel if you want to stay up to date with my latest videos. Other than that, thanks for watching and I will see you right here next time.